This accelerated my results. You want to be on the cover of a magazine? I needed tight, defined abdominals. This was just how I would do it when I was in the run-up to a competition. We want a supercar body. I wanted to work out every day. I was pushing my body too much, too often. But I guarantee you this, you'll get from A to B in a much shorter time frame. What's up guys? Pro fitness model and trainer Rob Richards here with Blue Star Nutraceuticals, and this is 10 things that I wish I knew then. That I know now. Starting with number 1, don't count every rep, make the reps count. Don't just be like 1, 2, 3, all the way up to your 10 or 12 reps. The way I like to think about this is, imagine you're doing a photo shoot and every rep that you're doing is concise, on point, you're feeling the muscle work, and that 10th or 11th rep, no matter how hard it might be, is still just as good, just as valid as that first rep. So I make sure that each of those reps are counting rather than me just trying to get the reps done and get through to the end of the set. So that was big for me, and that was something that I still employ now that had I have started to use back at the very beginning, who knows where it would have taken me, but definitely a key piece of information. My second thing that I wish I knew then that I know now is stick with the fundamentals, the basics, the core movements. I feel today especially, it's all too easy to get lost in all of these different newfangled exercises. Oh, this looks good and let me work it like this. Look, to build a great body, you have to work with the fundamentals. They are things like the bench press, the squat, the clean and press, even a deadlift or at least a bent over row. These still today make up the fundamental exercises within my routine. This allowed me to develop my understanding about weight training and consequently nutrition as well, which when you pair those two together are dynamite. They will do more for you regardless of your age than any of these sort of new exercises that we might see on social media or in magazines. Stick with the fundamentals. Back then, today, however many years ahead, that is what's going to help you build and maintain that strong, healthy, fit body. Let's move on. Tip number 3. This is all about progressive overload, which is about increasing the resistance, adding more weight to the muscle on each exercise. If you want to build muscle, you need a resistance for it to overcome, and that has to change in order for the muscle to become stronger. Make small incremental gains in the weights that you're lifting, but don't jump up too much. Stick within a rep limit of whether it's 8 to 10 or 12 to 15. If you can reach that maximal rep limit, add more weight. If on the next working set, you can't even reach the lower rep limit, then you've either added too much weight or stick with that weight if you are close for the next working set or two, or even the next workout, until you can reach that upper rep limit before then increasing the weight. That for me was a great technique, still something I employ today, about adding small weights and not trying to add too much weight, which is what I did at the beginning. I just added an extra plate onto the bar, and from lifting 12 reps and suddenly down to 5, I thought that was okay. Little did I know that I was really missing out on those small incremental gains. They're key. All right, let's move on. One thing I wish I knew then that I really know now is about training frequency and rest. What I mean by that is, back when I was younger, I wanted to work out every day. I was pushing my body too much, too often. And look, just because you might want to work out every day, you still need to understand about the rate of recovery, the term hypertrophy, the muscle growth, and the stages at which that goes through, the time frame needed for proper muscle recovery before being able to go back and work that muscle again. Now, knowing what I know now, I train one muscle group or upper body perhaps, and give it 3 days rest before coming back and training it again, or even training ancillary muscle groups, shoulders or arms, even after a chest or back. That's been a really valuable piece of information for me as far as training and being able to still push the weights, allowing for adequate recovery before I'm able to do it again. So that really was a big piece of information for me that I wish I knew back then that I know now. Moving on, number 5, You can't out-train a bad diet. What I know now is training and nutrition go hand in hand. If your nutrition isn't good enough, you're not providing your body with the necessary fuel it needs, you're never gonna make the kind of gains and see the results that you want, which can really be frustrating starting out. What we eat has a direct impact on how we look and feel. Pair the two together. It doesn't mean you need to be dieting or eating small amounts of food, but it means that you need to be aware of what you're eating. Get your protein, get your carbohydrates, get your fats sorted out. We want a supercar body. And in doing so, you gotta put premium fuel in. And that fuel is the food that we eat. So start to think about that, apply it, and I think you'll be amazed at how quickly those changes will start to come around. My next point is something that I feel I discussed a little bit in one of my previous points, and that is about rest and recovery. Over time, maybe a couple of years, once I started to really understand the ins and outs of weight training, nutrition, and just understanding how my body would respond to all of this, I found that by taking 1 or 2 rest days throughout the week, I'd get better workouts those following days. I found the best method for me was maybe a 2 or 3 day on, 1 day off. And then I'll do it again. So I'd be taking 2 rest days, maybe every 8 days, which sounded crazy to me, but I did it. And when I came back to the gym, I had this newfound enthusiasm for lifting weights. I could actually lift more weights. I could increase the weights I was lifting, and in doing so, I saw the gains and the results come even faster. You know, we live this lifestyle, but it doesn't determine our life. And that's one thing I've learned, especially over the years. There are other factors to our life than simply weight training. So let's move things on and look at some of the shocking principles. And these are things like rest pause, drop set, spotted or assisted reps, negatives, change in the tempo, all of these different factors that were more than just doing the exercise themselves. By employing these shocking principles, meaning that once I reached the end of my set, even if I was at the heaviest weight I could lift on that 9th or 10th rep, I knew that there was more I could do. I could strip off 10, 20, 30% of that weight and get 4 or 5 reps. I could take my muscle beyond the point of failure. It wasn't just about lifting weights, it was about understanding how the muscle would reach failure and what we could do beyond that, providing we had proper rest and nutrition. Those are key to this part of the equation. We'll include a list of these in the description below because I want you to know them and I want you to put them to use within your workout and change the way you look at working out. There's so much more that we can incorporate and get from our bodies than simply just the exercise itself. So that was something that was really important for me in my growth stage during my early years of training. So now we're sort of really getting into the meat and potatoes, like I'd say, of weight training and what's really important here. And one of those is have a plan. Don't just have a plan when you're in the gym, oh, today I'm gonna work out chest, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna hit some presses and some flies and be done with it. Expand that. Have a plan for 3 months or 6 months. And you know, I really learned this when I started to do the competitions. Where am I now? Where do I want to get to? How am I gonna stage my training? What muscle groups am I gonna train on which days? I had it all laid out. And in doing so, this accelerated my results much quicker than if I was just going into the gyms thinking, well, maybe one day I'll do a competition or maybe one day I'll do a photo shoot. You have to have a goal in mind, an end goal, a date. And in doing so, it forces you to think about what you're doing. So by doing this, I had a strategy, I had a plan. I felt so much more prepared in the gym that I knew what I was doing because I knew what I had to do on those following workouts. But I guarantee you this, you'll get from A to B in a much shorter time frame. So have an end goal, stick with it, execute it, and just give it your best. That's all we can ask. Cardio and abdominal training. Look, this isn't something I've mentioned yet, but it's something I'm big on. For me, I want it to be more defined. I want it to look more like the guys on the magazine covers, more so than the bodybuilders. And a lot of this came down to, for me at least, making sure I was hitting my cardio and I was training the abs. It wasn't enough just to have big arms or big chest. I needed tight, defined abdominals. And so I started to incorporate cardio pretty often, at times every day in the morning. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do 2 workouts a day. cardio separate to weight training. This was just how I would do it when I was in the run up to a competition. But I learned through that cardio was important. So I might have a workout day on a Monday using weights. Tuesday might be more focused around cardio, conditioning, maybe some stretching in there as well, and a focus on my abdominals. And so this allowed me to develop more of a structure focused around resistance training, moving heavy weights, and then cardio and body weight exercises, or at least focused around my abdominals. So don't forget about cardio. All right, and so here we are, number 10 of I wish I knew then what I know now. To be a fitness model. What does that mean? You want to be on the cover of a magazine, you want to be featured in a magazine, you want to rep brands and be featured in videos. If you're wanting to be somebody within the fitness industry, offer more than just looking good. There are many people looking good out there, many more than I remember growing up. For me, this was about being able to maybe speak on camera or offer information on my YouTube about the exercises and the nutrition and the meals and basically everything that I was finding was working for me. I wanted to put it out there. We have podcasts now. We have all these social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. These are portals in which you can put out information, motivate others, show others how you could get from here to there. That's huge. For somebody who might not be as fit, maybe they've got some weight that they want to lose, maybe it's just about confidence. How can you make someone else feel better about themselves? And a lot of that came down to the information. Are you open? Are you honest about that information? Are you showing enough content that people can readily get? I'm not talking about buying your training program or paying for your subscription. There needs to be a level of information just put out there. At the very least, if you want them to buy your book or follow your training program, show them why you're worth it. Put information out there, help others, be true to yourself. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a lot of information. Follow it, go back. And if you want to see more videos like this with other people, tag them. Let us know here at Blue Star who you want to see in this very sort of open and honest and sincere approach to what we know now and what we wish we knew back then. Drop us a comment, like the video, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. I've enjoyed this process. It's been a great way to be able to get all of this information out and take me back down memory lane over all of these years. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on the next video.